Gallant sector. Now, this is my review for the movie Split, the new movie by M.Night Shymalan. Now, you might be able to hear baby crying upstairs. Well, whatever. I'm moving from this apartment in a few days or so. But anyway, yes, now this movie, there has been some great reviews about this movie. Some reviews, some non-spoiler ones that I've heard before I went to see the film. And it made me say, I have to see that right away. Now, last year when I saw the trailer for this, I definitely wanted to see it. I'm a big fan of James McAvoy. I really like him. And I think this was a chance for any actor in this role to showcase their acting ability, because he's playing a character who has 23 different personalities. So I definitely want to see this. Now, before I go any further, this is a spoiler review. I'm going to do like a slight, overview of how I felt about the movie first. And then I'm just going to be talking about everything. I'm going to spoil stuff just because of the nature of this film. I don't really want to hold anything back. So anyway, let me get into it. M. Night Shyamalan is back. He's back to form. And what do I mean by that? Like when he came out with The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs, he really delivered something and gave us something. And even if it didn't seem necessarily totally new, we've seen movies like Signs before, Aliens and stuff like that. He gives us a story that revolves around a multitude of different things, and it comes together in one cohesive, movie. But it's just he always has a sort of a slight twist or something that foreshadows in the beginning of the film that pays off very well at the end, and he does that here, and he just delivers a very good film. Now, the thing about this is, it's cool. James McAvoy is playing a guy who has 23 different personalities. He sees a therapist or whatever, and she helps him out with this. And he kidnaps these 3 girls. You can see this in the trailers. This is in the trailers. He kidnaps these 3 girls. He keeps them locked up. These 3 girls are introduced to a few of his different personalities. Now, one of the girls, we see flashbacks into her life, her story. And basically when she was a child, she used to go hunting with her dad. Her dad used to teach her all these valuable lessons, mainly centered around hunting. But she had to also deal with an abusive uncle. And not so much, well, I would say physically abusive, because you could see she had scars and stuff on her body, but also sexually, And the thing is, that made her the character out of the 3 girls, the one that says, I know how to deal with people like this. I think I know what to do. She's analyzing him. She's smart. She's looking at what he's doing, and whatever personality is out, she's asking the right questions and stuff. And I really like that. The girl who, her name escapes me, but I heard she played in the movie Witches. She does really well in this. She does really well. Now, the other 2 girls, they're there. They're our everyday, probably normal type of girls that you would see without all these skills to be able to decide and be smart and break down, okay, this is a serious matter. Somebody has split personalities. They're not, they're not mentally stable, so you have to approach them this way, that way. They will act like how most of us would act, normally. But definitely fighters. They said, we're going to escape. We're going to try to escape and everything. And that was fantastic. But she was the one kind of telling them, we have to play things like this, we have to do this. And James McAvoy is switching in between what appears to be a woman, just one woman out of his personalities, a guy who's very much into fashion and very flamboyant, almost might seem homosexual, but you don't really know. He's just into fashion. A little boy, a 9-year-old boy, and the guy who kidnaps the girls in the first place, a very stern, strong OCD male, you know what I mean? And you see him switch back and forth between these characters. And the thing is, it happens sometimes in the same scene. There's scenes where he's talking to his therapist or a psychiatrist, whatever, and she's asking, who am I talking to? And he's pretending to be one when he's really the other one. James McAvoy delivers a masterpiece performance in this. I know this is a thriller movie. It's not really horror. It's not really horror, but this is a thriller movie. But it's so good. He does so good. But besides all of that, there's also, to be said, another personality that most of the 23 personalities he has keeps warning his this doctor about, and it's called the Beast. Supposedly, the Beast is a beast. Let's just put it like that. Now, in the trailers, they talk and they don't show too much. They don't give too much away. So there's no way you can see the twist coming, or the more so a reveal at the end of this movie. There's no way you can see it from the trailers. But they talk about, in this, people have different personalities, and other ones might take on traits, physical traits that the other ones don't have. Somebody can change their body chemistry to go along with what their mind is thinking that they really are. So their posture might be different, and their speech and the tone of their voice comes out different. One could be blind, one could have diabetes, one could have high cholesterol. And you can see this doctor, she was on Skype and she was talking to other people. We have to watch out for people with different personalities. And they're saying, do you think people could have other abilities just because their personality is different in their mind? And this tells you, this movie gets into whatever the mind believes. It's possible if it believes it's strong enough for the body to, and physically embody that, change your body chemistry. And we see that happen in this film. Now, the beast that James McAvoy character, a lot of the characters he played talks about, really does change his body chemistry. Now, I'm glad, because they talked about the beast like it was going to be this 7-foot tall, hairy, scales like a alligator or something on his skin. But that's not what happened. I'm glad. When you finally do see this beast, at one moment I was like, oh man, this whole movie played so grounded and so straight. I thought it would take people out of the movie. It didn't really take me out. I just was like, I think that's unnecessary to really do that. But when you do see him transform into this beast, it's funny because he doesn't really change too much physically. Just more so his behavior. But you do see like these thick veins come all over his body, and his eyes change a little bit. So that's about it. But you can tell from his mannerism and just slight physical appearances, like his veins in his body, they get deeper and thicker, stuff like that. So that played over pretty well. But I thought a lot of people wouldn't like it because there's one part where he's climbing on walls, and this was talked about, that the beast might be able to climb on walls and stuff like that. It's crazy, and it's like, how the hell is he climbing on that wall? Like he's a damn spider. How's that possible? But I was just willing to watch the whole movie. I knew that wasn't a big twist or reveal. I know M.Night likes to do that at the end of his movies, the last 2 minutes or 30 seconds or so. So I was still waiting for a big twist, and that is why I probably wasn't out of the picture of the movie too much. Like, it didn't take me out of it, and I go, oh man, I'm done with this movie or whatever. But there's a lot of things I skipped over. I want to leave a lot for you to see, even though I'm spoiling some things. But the end of this, you shouldn't be watching this because it's a spoiler, so you should have already saw this and, just want to hear my review. But if you are the type to watch spoilers anyway before you go see a movie, all right, I left a lot for you to see, okay? There's some terrific acting. I think everybody does a good job. There's some good performances. M. Night does what he does usually. He has these long shots where he just focuses on a person's face while someone else is talking, or that person, and it just builds up the suspense, and he builds up things over this. So it's not a slow film. It just takes its time and builds up, and they give you these funny moments, like when James McAvoy is this 9-year-old boy, and he takes one of the girls to his room, and she watch him dance, and it is hilarious. But at the same time, it's very realistic. I mean, this is the things you would expect from somebody with multiple personalities. But like I was saying, towards the end of the film, after he becomes the beast, something happens. I'm not going to say how many of the girls died, but it's, he's let loose. He escapes. And one of the other girls, the one with all the hunting training and who used to get physically and sexually molested, abused by her uncle, she gets away. She calls the cops, and the cops at the end are, asking questions. And then it's all over the news. There's a person with these personalities who killed his doctor, and yes, the doctor dies. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, this person, and we got this new name for him, and they give him a name, and it's like they're naming a villain. All of a sudden, they're in this diner, and this girl's saying, hey, that's just like that guy like 15 years ago or 16 years ago. They gave him a name too, remember? What was that name? And you hear the music playing. Right before they go to the diner scene, I hear the music playing. I turn to my girlfriend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're using the same music from another M. Night Shymalan movie, and it just happens to be a theme that I'm never going to forget. I really love the theme of that movie. And what happens is when the girl's saying, what was that guy named that was in a wheelchair? They gave him a name too. Then you see this bald guy sitting next to her as he comes into the view of the camera, and it is Bruce Willis, and he goes, Mr. Glass. His name was Mr. Glass. And at that moment, I could just hear some people take this breath, or just talk to the other person next to him like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yes, and that theme was from the movie Unbreakable. M. Night Shyamalan, one of his best. I really love that film. I think it's underrated. Because I think some people started to forget about that film. It was done so well. And he does some of those same things that he did in Unbreakable in this. The difference between Split and Unbreakable is Split was advertised as a movie about a guy with different personalities and maybe changing his body chemistry to embody the physical movements and that whatever his personality was. And in Unbreakable, they let you know off right from the beginning of the trailer that he was in a train wreck. And he comes out unscarred, not a broken bone, nothing. And is this guy, Samuel Jackson's character, who's obsessed with comic books, and he figured if there's somebody like me who could be easily hurt, I believe there's somebody on the other end of the spectrum that is almost impossible for them to get hurt. And they let you know it's got some supernatural things going on maybe from the beginning. That trailer does that. Split, it does that. It doesn't do that at all. I mean, I'm getting kind of excited now, but it doesn't do that at all. This trailer gives you one movie, and you don't expect to go in this looking at it as, oh, this might just be just like Unbreakable. But the thing is, James McAvoy's character is basically a new villain for Bruce Willis' character. I forgot what his name was in Unbreakable. And that's the thing. He could turn into this beast who has this amazing strength and his ability to climb on walls, and he can just he run faster than a cheetah almost. That's what it looks like. So he's like an animal, half man type thing. So this is a new villain for Bruce Willis' character to go after 16, 17 years really, because it came out in 2000, Unbreakable. And it was fantastic. Fans have been asking for a sequel to Unbreakable for years. And I'm just finding out that M. Night was planning like 3 movies after Unbreakable. He's planning 3 movies. And he had this character that James McAvoy plays for these personalities. He had him in the thought process when he was writing Unbreakable. But the thing is, what happened was, he didn't know how to introduce him in that movie. And I think he did the right thing by making a whole nother movie, because it takes time to set up this character for where you believe them. You wanted this performance. You wanted to see him talk about his problems with a therapist or psychiatrist or whatever. And you wanted to see the effects that he has on other people. Like when he kidnapped these girls, they were supposed to be like a sacrifice. It was fantastic, man. I advise anyone to go see it. If you watch this and you like hearing about spoilers before you watch the movie, go and watch it, please. Just for the performances alone. And anybody who else has saw it, you hear what I'm talking about. So let me know what y'all thought about it. I loved the movie. I loved it. And I was a big fan of Unbreakable. And since it's tied to that, that's one reason I loved it even more. I just thought it was a really good movie at first. And then I just started loving it as soon as I heard that music from the score of Unbreakable. I was like, oh, what the heck? And I wasn't expecting to see Bruce Willis. And then when they showed Bruce Willis, I'm like, and the girl was like, there was another guy that gave a name like 16 years ago. He was in a wheelchair. What was his name? I turned to my girlfriend. I'm like, Mr. Glass. They're talking about Mr. Glass from Unbreakable. I was excited. So yes, I do seem really hyper right now. That's because I was excited for this movie. And I was excited what M. Night Shyamalan did with this. He hit that very well. This movie is phenomenal. I advise everybody go see Split. If you're a fan of M. Night Shyamalan. If you're not, still go see it. This is a good movie, man. It was really good. I said a lot. Maybe I did want to make this a non-spoiler, but there was no way I could talk about this without talking about the end. And I'm glad because the movie's out already. So, a lot of you should have already seen it. If you didn't see it, whatever. Oh, well, sorry for spoiling. But you should have stopped when I said spoilers. But anyway, that's my review of the movie Split. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it an 8 or 8.5. It was really well done. And that reveal at the end totally caught us off guard. And if you've never seen Unbreakable, I suggest you go see Unbreakable first and then see this movie. I don't know why I keep saying this one. This is a spoiler review. You shouldn't even be watching this unless you already saw this movie. But still go see Unbreakable if you've seen Split and you've never seen Unbreakable. Go see it. I think that'd be a nice, you can get a feel of why M. Night Shyamalan did this movie this way. And the tone was perfect to fit in the universe with Unbreakable. But anyway, like the video if you like the video. Share it and subscribe. And I will see you next time.